Hi, my name is Helena Bedwell. I'm a journalist and the author of the two wonderful English language cookbooks for the beginners. Just like you, I'm a very busy person. I'm a reporter. I cover Georgia's economic and political news. So sometimes when I have time, I do go to the kitchen and I spoil my friends. Well, I was asked today to perform a small masterclass for you. I'm very nervous, but I'm sure we can handle it. I'm not a professional chef. I'm just a lover of cooking and lover of Georgian food and to promote Georgian food with my friends. Today, I'm going to teach you how to make two most wonderful and authentic Georgian dishes that are out there. And I'm sure you will all remember them and you'll love them. One of them is called lobio, which is a Georgian bean soup. And another one is called pelamushti, also known as tatara, which is a Georgian dessert. And that means Georgian grape juice. Well, in my experience, when I was teaching some of my foreign friends how to make these dishes abroad, I've noticed that sometimes it's quite complicated to basically to do everything from the scratch or just to do everything in a Georgian way. So I found some tricks of the trade that I would like to share with you how to make these wonderful heartwarming dishes at home, wherever you are. Well, let's start with lobio, with a bean soup. Well, you can obviously easily take Georgian red kidney beans and soak them overnight. This is what basically the method is. So basically we fill the water, so we make sure that water covers lobio nicely, and then we put it on the stove. But here is the trick which I would like to share with you. Either you can keep these beans overnight, or you can easily use canned kidney beans, which are, I'm sure, available everywhere. This works just fine. So let's start with that. We put kidney beans inside the pot, mix it. So it's either you can take the kidney beans that you soaked the night before, or you can simply take the canned ones. Then we take half of a lemon and we throw it inside the pot. I was told by several good French chefs that it will take some toxins away and it will definitely develop the flavor. So, meanwhile, while that one is preparing, we'll take 2 cloves of garlic, onions, and chop them finely. Do crush garlics by hand so they are easily absorbed. So while lobio is boiling inside the pan, we'll start with oil. Take any oil you like. Obviously, it's up to you. You can use olive oil, but I wouldn't recommend using olive oil for the Georgian dishes. So just take oil of your choice. Regular sunflower oil does just fine. And then we saute onions and garlic. And stir. This chartoli, yeah. Esa. For lobio, it's ideal to use fresh herbs as well as some of the dry herbs. Do improvise and don't be shy to add or basically remove any of the herbs that you don't like. The flavor of lobio is obviously depend on the brand and the kind, but I find that if you have some Georgian spices on hand, I think any lobio would taste in any other country, wherever you are, would taste just fine. ეს არ არის ჩართული. While lobio is boiling and while the onions, garlic and herbs are sauteed, I find it quite useful to put a little bit of tomato paste while the onions are sauteing, because that gives the lobio, the ready lobio, a bit of a kick and a color. And of course, then we add dry coriander as well as fresh coriander. Also, we have the spices which are called khmeli suneli, which is a Georgian, the regular spice, which is very popular. It's alternative to it's basically the blue fenugreek, if you can find it over there. And with those dry spices, we're basically that's exactly what gives the Georgian taste of a lobio soup, the specific Georgian flavor. Alternatively, you can simply just not add any tomato paste, but obviously, as I said, it's up to you. Vinegar is another very crucial ingredient for Georgian lobio. Smells lovely already. And lemon, which I put inside the boiling lobio. These kidney beans are already pre-cooked and they are pre-boiled. But when it comes to the fresh lobio, I would suggest to keep them overnight in the water, then simply boil them first, drain the water and add some fresh water and keep boiling. So therefore, and then you will do the rest. Most of the Georgian parts, like eastern and western parts, they do lobio differently. For example, in western part of Georgia, where my family comes from, they blend lobio. So it's more like a soup texture and a flavor, and as it is more blended rather than eastern part of Georgia, where the actual lobio, the beans are in a more round shape. So, as I said, it's up to you, whichever method you prefer. So right now we're preparing a conventional, traditional, just a simple, the lobio, which will be served as a texture of a soup. See, it already has a little bit of red color, which is very important when it comes to lobio. Obviously, I would also recommend to put touch of salt, paprika, and black pepper. Since lobio is mostly served with pickles, like mostly with the salted varieties, obviously you don't really need much salt in it because it's already balanced with some of the Georgian pickles with hot bread or Georgian cornbread, which is also has a bit of a salty flavor. Well, then we will remove the lemon, which was inside lobio. And then we'll take the sauteed ingredients and simply pour it inside the boiled lobio pan. Mm. The key to the tasty lobio, obviously, is, as I said once again, the texture of it, how chunky the ingredients are inside, and you can blend it, or you can simply drain it, serve it as a sort of like a shape of a much more as a sort of with crackers, with a hot bread, or with a cornbread, or just simply as a soup in the clay pot, which is a very Georgian style, or just simply put it in the beautiful bowl with a spoon and just surprise your guests. It's a very hearty, warm autumn winter dish. Boil further until you get desired consistency. So lobio is ready. You can serve it with, as I said, hot bread, with a Georgian cornbread, or simply with just have it by itself as soup. I would highly recommend to serve it with a beautiful slices of radish and some of the fresh Georgian spices, herbs and spices, greens. You can add parsley leeks, even if you like. So here we are, lovely Georgian lobio. Now let's talk about pelamushti, also known as tatara in Georgia. This is one of my favorite desserts. And when I introduced this dessert to some of my friends and relatives abroad, they all were taken aback just how healthy, how interesting, and how unusual it tasted. Well, normally Georgians, they make pelamushti and tatara during the harvest, grape harvest season, primarily to basically to use the grape juices which are left over from winemaking. But I believe that pelamushti is a all year round season dessert, and I think it deserves place in our hearts. So that's why I've developed my own method how to make pelamushti tatara. Just ignore to make churchkhela out of it, one of those Georgian walnut desserts. So I think pelamushti tatara can be healthy. It can be even gluten-free, which is, to be honest with you, a very important subject today. It can be also sugar-free. For my pelamushti tatara, I have decided to make it with just ordinary grape juice. You can easily use blackberry juice. You can use cloudy apple juice. Or if you just keep sticking with the Georgian traditional recipes, just keep it with the original Georgian badagi, which is basically a grape juice from the grape harvest. But I decided to keep with just an ordinary nice juice. Alternatively, a very interesting method is to make it with sweet red wine. Well, therefore, it's a more alcoholic dessert. So basically, we take 1 liter of lovely red grape juice, and we will take a whisk and some flour. But before adding flour, I find it that using cinnamon is a very good thing because it gives it balances some flavors. So we'll add a little bit of cinnamon in the juice. Then we keep stirring it while it's still cold. before we move to the stove. And then we just add approximately 1 liter of grape juice will require 150, 160 grams of flour. But you can basically choose flour of your choice. You can use wheat flour, ordinary. You can use Georgian corn flour, or you can use gluten-free flour. So it's up to you. And then remix it. While it's mixed, we move to the stove. Try to keep it on a medium heat. And we certainly avoid using sugar. You don't really need sugar with this dessert unless members of your family or you are a very much so sweet lover. And slowly we'll add flour. You must not leave the pot unattended because it's a very sticky dessert. It sticks very fast. So therefore, you must stand here and keep stirring. Just watch the consistency. The heat must be a medium heat. And you simply keep stirring. Remember, it's important to put flour in the juice, not the other way around. Touch of cinnamon again, and continue stirring. Soon you will see some bubbles forming. That means that it's boiling, obviously, but it will be ready when you will get a more sticky consistency. Some people like it very thick, but some people like it a little bit runny. So it's up to you. I think we just make sure that it will boil. Also, if you find it's a bit too thick and you will have some lumps inside your pelamushti, please do not despair because it happens. You can either basically take a mixer, ordinary baking mixer, and just mix it, electric mixer, or just keep stirring by hand. Here. I think we will just reduce the heat a little bit and we keep going. See? We already see the desired shape. Obviously, if you think that you need a bit more juice, you can add some more juice. But in our case, I think it's just fine. Pelamushti is ready when you will see a bit of bubbles forming, and also when you have to give a sort of like a sniff test, and if you do not smell flour anymore, that means that it's done. There. Ideally, pelamushti is served hot, but also you can serve it cold when it's in a little desired shapes. Нет, это сначала, пожалуйста, можно? No? Pelamushti is served hot or cold. When it's hot, obviously, it's served with a bit of walnuts, with a little bit of almonds, in our case, raisins. But you can also put them in a tiny little shapes and chill and serve chilled. It's just as good. Kids love it, and it's a wonderful Christmas, New Year treat. Right, I think it's ready. We will bring it back to the table, and we put it in a bowl. And then we'll take a spoon and basically rearrange it. We can either create a little vortex or just give it a desired shape. Now, what we'll do is that we either sprinkle it with raisins, I find it with a bit of honey around it will do just a trick. It just gives a bit of a moist sides. So, and then we'll take a bit of almonds. You can either have them salted almonds or sweet almonds. And sprinkle.